So today we'll see for half an hour care of preterm and VLBW and ELBW babies. When I say VLBW babies, babies birth weight less than 1.5 kg. ELBW means babies birth weight less than 1 kg. The preterm can have both VLBW and LBW. See, let us see what is the burden. What many studies are showing. So many studies are showing many babies when they born, they need what is called gentle ventilation. You cannot do a routine bag and mass ventilation. What you do for generally any babies. Because these babies are so tiny, less than 1.5 kg. The skin is very gelatinous, the skin is very mucinous, and the child's alveoli is very small. So you cannot give very high pressure. You cannot do bag and mass what you do for other babies. So a lot of studies have been done. And those studies were showing what is happening to the child. Any child below 1.5 kg or 1 kg or preterm child, they tend to go for hyaline membrane disease because of the surfactant deficiency. So that means you have to expand the lung, which is going to collapse because of the surfactant deficiency. So there are 3 trials was done. Whether these babies, even though the babies are respiring, if you take the saturation, it will be low only. The lung will be functioning, the baby will respire, but at the same time, the saturation will not be there. Because we need to give some amount of little bit of positive pressure ventilation to these babies. That means this positive pressure ventilation, if I give an ambu bag, I am not measuring the positive pressure. So many people have tried 3 important things. One group was given CPAP, continuous positive airway pressure at the delivery room. One group they gave surfactant because these babies are going to have a hyaline membrane disease. And one group they give what is the ventilation. They are directly connecting the ventilation for this one. Even though the percentage of ELBW is less than 1%, why we are talking give a lot of importance to this low birth weight VLBW or preterm care? Because if you take our Tamil Nadu status into consideration, if you take below 1000 grams, 70% of the babies are dying and 30% of the babies are surviving. This death and survival of this below 1 kg baby is depending upon the system involvement. For example, the child, every system is normal. That means what are the common complications you see in PDA? Cardiovascular system, you have PDA. In preterm, cardiovascular system, you have PDA. Respiratory system, you have HMD. Bone, you can say osteopenia of prematurity. Hematological anemia of prematurity. Abdomen, NNEC, neonatal enterocolitis. That means, and brain, if you take intraventricular hemorrhage, periventricular leukomalacia. So that means these are all the problems expected in a very low birth weight or very BLBW or ELBW babies. So our aim, if that thing is there, all systems are normal, only the weight alone is 800 grams. These babies can come out around very nicely and you can survive the babies. Suppose the 800 gram is having a HMD, 800 grams is having a PDA, or 800 grams is having some other NNEC, then it's very difficult to bring out, even though the percentage is very low. Why we are concentrating on this below 1 kg baby or below 1.5 kg baby? Because our NMR is at present is almost 10 per thousand. We have to reach the single digit. That means the time has come to save many babies of 1 kg or below 1 kg also. You can see this slide, the gestation weeks and the mortality. Now the period of viability has been changed. Previously we used to say 28 weeks of gestation. Now it's almost 24 weeks of gestation. In abroad, they even save the babies even after 22 weeks also. So that means you can see.
Slide has not changed, sir.
What, ma?
Slide has not changed, sir.
So don't worry on the slide. Don't worry. Just hear my voice. It is something. And it's I have to go by 2:15. One more meeting is there.
No problem.
Okay. Just hear my voice. That's fine. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that means the time has come to save all this preterm care. What sort of care we can give? If the gestation week, if the baby is delivered at 22 weeks of gestation, the death is almost 90%. The baby is delivered at 27 weeks of gestation, the death is almost 25 to 30%. That means we have to be very careful in delivering these babies. So what are the managements we can do? What are the expected problems in this VLBW and ELBW babies? You can see here, The short term, you can write it as short term problems. Suppose you take respiratory system into consideration, hyaline membrane disease, later they can go for bronchopulmonary dysplasia. If you take abdomen into consideration, feeding intolerance, neonatal necrotizing enterocolitis. Generally, these very low birth weight babies have very low immunity is very low. They are completely immunosuppressed. That means they are more prone to go for nosocomial infections. If you take the CNS into consideration, they may go for intraventricular hemorrhage and periventricular leukomalacia. If you eye into considerations, retinopathy of prematurity. If it's cardiovascular into consideration, PDA. If you take hematological, they may have anemia prematurity. Of course, endocrine, they can have transient hypothyroidism. These are all the problems these babies can encounter. So how we are going to save this baby? Let us see. So I told all these are short-term problems. What are the long-term problems? Even if you treat the HMD, in long-term basis, if you see, they may go for chronic lung disease. And these are the babies are prone to go for reactive airway disease, that is asthma. Sometimes this baby can go for cerebral palsy, they can go for growth failure. These are all called long-term complications you see. So, two good things are done. So how we are going to manage these babies? That is very important. So I am going to divide the management into perinatal management. Perinatal management, first I start from the antenatal period itself. Suppose you know the mother is going to deliver a 1 kg baby. There is previous history of, I'll say, preterm delivery in the family. Or the mother has got a premature rupture of membrane, another 6 hours or 4 hours, the baby is going to deliver. What are the things you can do? Suppose you know the mother has got PAH, the mother has got diabetes complicating pregnancy, the mother has got chorioamnionitis, mother has got some urinary tract infection, some infection is there. And if you be in a small hospital, better you transfer the mother with the baby, intrauterine transfer. Intrauterine transfer is the best mode of transfer to a higher perinatology center where the below 1 kg baby can be saved. Then once they reach our hospital, for example, a mother who had a history of preterm delivery previously, now has got a PAH, it's 28 weeks of gestation, she's in Tiruvallur. What the Tiruvallur pediatrician obstetrician should do, better to transfer the mother to the IOG so that delivery can occur in IOG. So perinatology or neonatology intervention can be done very well. Once the mother reaches the IOG, what you will do? What you will do, you do an amniotic fluid assessment. Whether the amniotic fluid is very much adequate for the baby, because amniotic fluid is going to be the nutrition for the baby. So you should see whether it is adequate or not. Then you are in a dilemma, whether to start antibiotic for this PROM, premature rupture of membrane. So what you should do, you should do a rectovaginal swab. Suppose the mother has got a premature rupture of membrane, send it for culture and don't wait for the culture report to come. You can start giving antibiotic, especially ampicillin and vancomycin are the two antibiotics that can be used. Then next I am worried whether the child will have a hyaline membrane disease or respiratory distress syndrome. In those situations, I think it is better to give steroid. The steroid can be given from 24 to 34 weeks of gestation. There are a lot of studies saying that whether 22 weeks mother coming for delivery, the baby is so small, can we give steroid? There are two studies. One study was giving steroid for 22 to 23 weeks. Another study was giving steroid for 24 to 34 weeks. They could not see any big differences regarding the prevention of HMD, but it is a proven fact that complete completion of steroid during the antenatal period before delivery is very helpful in preventing the hyaline membrane disease. Can you use tocolytics? Yes, tocolytics are like alupent or beta-propofol or propranolol, something like that. How these tocolytics will help? The tocolytics may not prevent the hyaline membrane disease, but it can prolong the delivery for 2 to 3 days so that steroid can hang. That means when you are giving steroid to the mother to prevent the hyaline membrane disease, simultaneous giving tocolytic will allow the pregnancy to get prolonged for 3 days so that steroids will act very nicely. So that means what are the antenatal management you do for giving for a excellent care for a baby is going to born with a VLBW or ELBW? intrauterine transfer, antenatal fluid assessment, antibody if there is antibiotic if there is PROM in the form of ampicillin or vancomycin, then giving steroid from 24 to 34 weeks of gestation, along with tocolitis, which can prolong the delivery time so that steroid can act. Now, what are the natal management you can do? Now the baby has come to the labor ward, the baby got delivered. The weight is 800 grams. That means the first hour management is very, very, very important. As soon as the baby is born, what is the first hour management? First hour management, number one is thermoregulation. The baby should be kept in a warm environment. Mother's hand should be warm, doctor's hand should be warm, there should be a warm cloth, switch on the warmer, the room should be warm, everything should be warm so that the baby can be kept in a warm conditions. Thermoregulation, the first one is very, very, very important. Then we do what is called gentle ventilation. What is this called gentle ventilation? See, usually you put a bag and mask ventilation and start squeezing thin. Sometimes when the baby is not crying, you connect with an oxygen and give 40% oxygen also. But here, when I say gentle ventilation, instead of, see, when you use your ambu bag, what is happening? You are using your finger and pressing the ambu bag. That means how much pressure you are giving to the baby, you don't know. How much peak end expiratory pressure you are giving, we don't know. How much peak inspiratory pressure you are giving, we don't know. So PIP is not known, PEEP is not known. The alveoli are so small, the alveoli are nothing but lined by a thin layer. When you give, without calculating what is the PIP and what is the PEEP, and give more oxygen, the alveoli may rupture and produce barotrauma or pneumothorax also. That's why it is called gentle ventilation. Gentle ventilation means giving a room air ventilation for the baby rather than collecting the oxygen. Point number one. Now, point number two, instead of ambu bag, what you can use called T-piece resuscitator. It's a new instrument which is available everywhere now. Comes around 80,000 rupees. This T-piece resuscitator, it is like a ambu bag, very simple. Fit the mask to the baby's mouth and just put your thumb. You can open the thumb and close the thumb like that. It's like doing an ambu bag that I will demonstrate you when you come on offline. This CPR. So T-piece resuscitator. So gentle ventilation means using a T-piece resuscitator along with room air oxygen in the form of 20%, not giving any 40% or 100% oxygen. That will avoid barotrauma to the child, that will avoid pneumothorax to the child, that will avoid bronchopulmonary dysplasia later. Then of course there is one more thing called early CPAP. I already told you, because of the surfactant deficiency, these alveoli may anytime get collapsed. The child can go for breathlessness also and die. So any young babies where he is going to get a hyaline membrane disease, the early CPAP. What is the early CPAP? As the name says, there is a continuous positive airway pressure. That means when I am operating the machine, the pressure is going to be in both inspiration and also expiration. What happens alveoli usually, during the inspiration they take the air, then after the expiration they collapse, then they don't reopen because of the surfactant deficiency. By giving a continuous pressure, I never allow the alveoli to close at all. So you give CPAP for 2 to 3 days, the alveoli will not close so that the collapse will not occur. Once the alveoli, as the day goes on, it becomes smart, then they start acting. That's why early CPAP in the delivery room itself can prevent hyaline membrane disease. Of course, some of them are advocating surfactant in the first 15 minutes. Suppose my CPAP is failing or the child distress is very severe. The child is completely cynosed. You may be ventilating. In those children, even without taking an X-ray chest, start giving surfactant. That means a baby below 1 kg, when you are going to the labor ward for management, what is the first hour management? These are all the first hour management. I maintain the thermoregulation. Even though the baby is breathing, the saturation we say is called targeted saturation. What is targeted saturation? 1 minute it will be 65, 2 minutes it's 70, 3 minutes 75, 4th minute is 80, 5th minute is 85. That means by 5 minutes, a newborn, especially preterm care or LBW babies, can have 85 saturation. Don't expect saturation to be 100. Suppose I am not able to get even this 85 saturation by 5 minutes. That means I have to do the first hour management, thermoregulation, gentle ventilation. Instead of ambient use the T-piece resuscitator. Instead of using oxygen, just use a room air oxygen of 20%. In some cases, go for early CPAP. In some cases where you need ventilation, your CPAP is failing, then you can go for surfactant therapy in the first 15 minutes. Then, these are all about the respiratory care, what we do for low birth weight and preterm care babies. நல்லா இருக்கப்பா இன்னைக்கு ஃப்ரீ எக்ஸ்ரே நார்மலா சரி மத்தியானம் அனுப்பிச்சு போய் பார்த்து பார்த்தேன் நானே போய் ஃபோன்ல சொல்லிடுறேன். If you take a skin care, the skin is very important because they are very gelatinous, very smooth, very mucinous, very thin, can go for rupture. So skin care is very important. Usually what they do, if you go to the nursery, even though the baby is in the warmer, there is a transepidermal loss of water through the skin from the baby. That is, the extracellular fluids may get lost. The transepidermal loss of water will be there. If the water is lost, the child becomes very thin. They lose weight also. So what we do, what is called polyethylene bag, plastic bag. All the warmers will be covered with the polyethylene plastic bag so that the evaporation of water from the body through the epidermal skin will not occur. Some people, they do emollient. Some people, they do adhesive also to prevent the warmth, to prevent the heat from the preterm babies. How do you remove this adhesive and emollient? By using a soft cotton wool, soft warm cotton wool. Slightly you can remove these adhesives and emollient in this child when you are giving a skin care. So our targeted oxidation saturation could be is going from 85 to 93. Then what we will do? So I have taken care of the preterm babies in the labor ward. The first hour management was done. Then I started on CPAP or surfactant or gentle ventilation. Then I have to give the fluids. So the fluids be given through the IV access. Whenever the baby is below 1 kg, the proper IV access you can make is either umbilical artery or umbilical venous. You can use the IV access in this child. Then minimal evaporation should be done by using a plastic cover. It's called polyethylene bag. And see to that I am not giving high oxygen and the child is not hyperventilated. No hyperoxia or no hyperventilation. First hour is over. Now I am going to do for second hour. That is 24 to 48 hours. The baby was received in labor ward. Initial management was done. Shifted to nursery. The child has come to the NIC. What is this 24? Second hour, second day, 24 to 48 hours management. This 24 to 48 hours management, second to the third day management is most important because many systems may get deranged after the birth. So we are going to see one by one now. The first day is over. I have resuscitated the child with the T-piece resuscitator with less oxygen. I had an IV access. I started on say 5% dextrose as an IV fluids. First day, child is okay. Now I entered the second day. Now I have to clarify that the child has got any other problem. Cardiovascular system, respiratory system, fluid I am giving normally, hepatological problem, TPN can be given, or neurological problem. What I do cardiovascular system on the second day, I do the echocardiogram and find out whether PDA is there or not, whether the child has got hypertension or not. That I do by echocardiogram. What do you do respiratory system? Yesterday I gave surfactant, still the distress is continuing, I will give one more dose of surfactant. Fluid management is very important. The first 2-3 days, especially below 1 kg in abroad, instead of fluid, what they give total parenteral nutrition, which contains protein, carbohydrate, fat, potassium, sodium, calcium, trace elements, all these things are there. So TPN can be started. Dermatological, yes, these are the babies can go for anemia prematurity. To see the hemoglobin and try to maintain the hemoglobin above, say 8 or 10, then there is no need for any blood transfusion. Infection control, already I told you how to control infection. Rectovaginal swab from the mother to know whether the infection is from the mother to the baby. So you use what is called ampicillin and vancomycin. And of course, these are the babies, you suggest them for ultrasound cranium to rule out any ventricular hemorrhage or periventricular leukopenia. So what are the ventilation strategies we can do? I already told you. Best thing is continuous positive airway pressure. Sometimes you can go for high frequency ventilation. Always try to use non-invasive ventilation rather than invasive mechanical ventilation. Okay. Now I got a low birth weight baby, below 1.3 kg, below 1 kg. What are the care I am giving and planning? I gave you a planning in the antenatal period, how to do during the antenatal period, how steroid should be given, how tocolytis could be given, how delivery can be prolonged. Then natal care, I told you in the labor ward, oxygen in the form of TB resuscitator, so that there will not be any barotrauma, IV access to the umbilical artery, either umbilical artery or umbilical vein. These are the things I do in the first hour. Then second day, I look after the complication of each and every system. Now I have to give some adjuvant therapy. What are the adjuvant therapy you can use? Vitamin A therapy. Many studies have proven that vitamin A, by giving vitamin A, these extreme preterm babies will not go for bronchopulmonary dysplasia in the future. So giving vitamin A therapy is very important. Somebody says how much to give for newborn. They have decided that the newborn can be given 1,000 units for 4 weeks. But what happened? Because of the pain in the injection, some babies are not tolerating the pain. Now this vitamin A therapy is not that much used. Next is caffeine. Yes, caffeine is a wonderful drug which can prevent apnea or prematurity in children. So caffeine can be tried. Then of course, parental nutrition, enteral nutrition in the form of TPN should be tried in these babies. And infection control is very important because these are the babies, they have succumbed to infection because of immunosuppression. So you have to do what is called infection control. Then there will be a short notes, they will be asking what is neurosensory complications. Neurosensory complications means whether this low birth weight and preterm babies after delivery, whether they have any intraventricular hemorrhage, whether they have any periventricular leukopenia. These are the things you should see in these babies and see whether this by ultrasound cranium you can identify on the second day and you find out whether any problem is there in the brain. And of course you have to screen the eyes also to rule out retinopathy or prematurity. So retinopathy or prematurity screening should be started around 34 weeks of gestation. Then you start screening and find out whether ROP is there and you have to treat accordingly. This is called neurosensory complications. That means what I have told so far in a nutshell, here is a preterm baby who is below 1 kg. I would say it's an ELBW baby. What is the care given to this ELBW baby, which is something different from the normal children, a normal newborn? So the care I can summarize in this low birth weight or preterm care babies. Number one, intrauterine transfers antenatally, steroid should be given, tocolytis could be given, antenatal fluid assessment should be there. What do you do during the natal care? In natal care, I go for gentle ventilation. Even though the baby is respiring, I will go for gentle ventilation. More importantly, I use TP resuscitator where I can reduce the tidal volume and increase the functional residual volume also. So gentle ventilation is our norm in first hour management. During the second day or third day management, I will look into the system-based complications in the form of PDA, HMD, NNDC, food intolerance, and see whether all the systems are getting involved. So 24 to 48 hours, I will screen and analyze whether the system is involved or not. Then after 48 hours, when I sit the baby to the nursery, what are the other management for respiratory system? I add on to the surfactant. Whether there is PDA is there, you have to see. You have to go for total parental nutrition, and very shortly you can introduce enteral nutrition once the baby starts swallowing. So these are all the simple management, and of course don't forget the thermoregulation management. Look out for hypocalcemia, look out for hypoglycemia. And these are all the preliminary management or very important management in doing what is called preterm care. So there may be an essay question asking you, how do you give preterm care, especially VLBWs and LBW babies? Breastfeeding will be with them because they cannot suck, rooting and sucking, swallowing will not be coordinated. Rooting may not be there, sucking may not be there, swallowing may be there. That's why I said enteral feeding through NG tube is fine. Once the child starts sucking, then you can give through the even direct breastfeeds also. So this is what the management of extreme preterm care babies. If anybody has doubt, you can ask the doubt, I will answer. Otherwise, I will go for a meeting. Priya?
Sir, this Anushka, I had a doubt, sir.
Yeah.
How do we treat the anemia of prematurity, sir? How do
Now, anemia prematurity, initially we don't treat anemia prematurity as long as generally newborn babies or preterm babies will have hemoglobin around 16, 18, 19. And the PCB will be around 50 to 60. Okay, 50 to 60. Generally all these extreme preterms are all polycythemic because of the hypoxia, increased erythropoietin secretion, more RBC, generally they are polycythemia. Sometimes what happens, the child can have anemia because maternal anemia may be there. So your question is well understood and very good question. Now the recent trend to improve the anemia of prematurity when the baby is born start at the labor ward. Point number 1, delayed cord clamping. Usually immediately after delivery, you clamp the cord and cut the baby and take it out. But if you suspect anemia of prematurity, the baby looks paler, you can do what is called delayed cord clamping. Generally, you have to assess how the baby is there, and if the hemoglobin goes below, say, 9 gram. See, generally in adult, what we say, when the hemoglobin goes below 5, I give blood transfusion. Here, the hemoglobin goes below 9, you can give blood transfusion. So, one way of treating this anemia prematurity, delayed cord clamping in the mother, so that more blood from the mother to the baby to go. Number 2 is called blood transfusion when the hemoglobin goes below 9. Otherwise, you have to wait and watch up to 6 months. As long as the weight is growing, I think the baby is doing well. So delayed cord clamping, don't forget. That is very important.
Yes, sir. And sir, what is the name of the ventilator, sir, that we use instead of the ambu bag?
That is called T-piece resuscitator. I will put it in the group tonight.
Okay,
What
sir.
is T-piece resuscitator? Beauty என்ன அப்படின்னா இப்போ ஆம்பு பேக் வந்து நீங்க எல்லாம் மறந்து போயிருப்பீங்க எப்படி ரெசிஸ்டேட் பண்ண. ஒரு நாள் நீங்க ஆஃப்லைன் வந்தப்பறம் நான் கிளாஸ் எடுக்கிறேன் ஆம்பு பேக். ஸோ அதை நம்ம வந்து வி கீப் ப்ரெஸ்ஸிங் த ஆம்பு பேக்னும். ஸோ இந்த T-piece ரெசிஸ்டேட்டர்ல எல்லா ஃபிங்கர் யூஸ் பண்ண வேண்டாம். ஒரு தம்மை மட்டும் வச்சு அமைக்க எடுத்தாலும் இந்த மெஷின் வில் டூ பேக் அண்ட் மாஸ். என்ன அட்வான்டேஜ் ஆஃப் T-piece ரெசிஸ்டேட்டர் வந்து நம்ம பிப், அதாவது பீக் இன்ஸ்பிரேட்டரி ப்ரெஷரும் பீக் எண்ட் எக்ஸ்பிரேட்டரி ப்ரெஷர் நம்ம மெஷர்டு வேல்யூல கொடுக்கலாம். ஸோ தட் அல்வியோலி ரப்சர் ஆகாது, நிமோதராக்ஸ் வராது.
Okay. It is also mask ventilation, sir.
It is a gentle ventilation. Gentle ventilation. See, you have to differentiate. அதாவது பேபி வித் பிரீதிங், பேபி வித் நோ பிரீதிங். ஓகேவா? பேபி வித் பிரீதிங்க்கு ஜென்டில் வென்டிலேஷன். ஏன்னா ப்ரீடம் பாப்பா என்னதான் பிரீத் பண்ணாலும் அதுக்கு அடிக்குவேட் சேச்சுரேஷன் கிடைக்காது. அதனால நம்ம என்ன கொஞ்சம் ஜென்டிலா அதை சப்போர்ட் பண்ணணும். எப்படி சப்போர்ட் பண்றோம்? T-piece ரெசிஸ்டேட்டர் 40% ஆக்சிஜன் கொடுக்க மாட்டோம், டாக்ஸிசிட்டி. ஏன்னா ஆக்சிஜன் நிறைய கொடுத்தா ரெட்டினோபதியா ப்ரீமேச்சுரிட்டி வந்துடும். அதனால நம்ம என்ன பண்றோம்? 20% ஆக்சிஜன் ரூம் ஏர் ஆக்சிஜன்லேயே பண்ணான்னு சொல்றோம். இது ஜென்டில் வென்டிலேஷன். ஓகேவா? இதுல ஒர்க் அவுட் ஆகல T-piece ரெசிஸ்டர் நம்ம CPAP போனோம். அப்ப இந்த பேக், அதாவது ஜென்டில் வென்டிலேஷன்ல T-pieceம் CPAPம் பிரீதிங் கையில் இருக்கு. இந்த சைல்ட் இஸ் நாட் பிரீதிங் வச்சுக்கோங்க. இந்த சைல்ட் இஸ் நாட் பிரீதிங், தென் ஐ வில் கோ ஃபார் மெக்கானிக்கல் வென்டிலேஷன். அந்த சைல்ட் கோஸ் ஃபார் ஆப்னியா. சரியா?
That's intubation, sir.
Yeah, you have to intubate and go for mechanical ventilations.
Okay.
CPAP நம்ம இந்த டியூப் போட்டு அழகா நேராவே போட்டுடலாம் CPAP.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other doubts? 229. No. Ah.
50 ரூபாய் இன்னைக்கு 100 ரூபாயா?
Kausalya, you are
என்னப்பா கௌசல்யா 100 ரூபாய் வருது.
somebody unmuted by mistake. Okay, sir. I don't think anybody else has doubts.
Yeah, then I have a meeting. Thank you for attending. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the class, sir.
Thank you. This is an essay question. Please take care.
Okay, sir. Will do. Thank you.
Bye.